Hey everybody, this is Jason Kissel. This is going to be the first of a few videos in my Screencastify and Flipgrid section of this course. So I'm going to keep my videos as much as I can to less than 5 minutes long, and it's very strategic. And the reason is Screencastify free only has 5 minute long videos, right? So it would be really unfair for me to be like, hey, I'm going to show you all about Screencastify free, and you'd be like, well, the main thing I want is unlimited videos. The reason why I'm doing this is not because I'm cheap, although I am. It's because I've looked into research on video length and effective video length for students, and actually a article I recently read about video length from a researcher at MIT said we should try to keep these videos into segments and chunks shorter than 6 minutes long. So 5 minutes is shorter than six. I used to be a math teacher. And that's really hard to do. So actually, how I do it is I run through the recording all the way through, um, as long as it takes me. I just talk through it. I kind of time myself, and then I break it into parts that seem more manageable. So I don't actually plan out each segment ahead of time. I plan out the whole thing. I run through the whole thing. Let's say it takes me 24 minutes. And then I try to plan out those 4 or 5 segments that it would take me after that. All right, so this first video is really just going to be about the menu of Screencastify and about what you can actually do with the free version versus the unlimited version. So a lot of people want the unlimited version, which I totally get. But really, the only two things you're getting are unlimited video length, which might be important to you, but I'm going to try to encourage you out of that. And the second thing would be that there's no video editor, which really is a bummer. But using a little bit of creative ingenuity with Screencastify and Flipgrid, actually, I think we can do pretty much the same thing, if not more, using Flipgrid's editing tools, which are completely free. All right, so let's jump into this menu. I had to take a screenshot of it because when you record using Screencastify, it doesn't show you this little screen. And I think a lot of us have used Screencastify, so we're pretty familiar. But let's just make sure we're all on the same page here. You have 3 different options for how you're going to record. If you record the webcam only, all you're going to see is the face or whatever you have in front of the actual camera. You're not going to see anything on the screen. It's great if you want to send kids a meeting message, if you just want to send them a note of encouragement, if you're giving them feedback on a lesson and you don't need to show you going over the lesson, you just want to talk to them about it. It's a really cool way, I think, to connect with people that we haven't thought about in the past, especially in a blended learning setting. For students, the webcam's a great way for them, if they're comfortable, to get on screen and explain what they're thinking, to ask a question to you, to answer one of your questions. Right? It's a cool way. You could use an assessment tool where you could say, try to make eye contact with your camera and explain to me the steps to whatever process we're talking about in class. So I like using the webcam a little bit more than maybe what you'd think. Browser tab is a really specific. I'm actually going to use this little focus mouse here. That's a really cool feature. I love that. Browser tab is really what you'd think. It's just one single tab. So if you switch off the tab, it only records the tab that you started the recording on, right? You can also record the tab audio. So I'm going to scroll down to this when you click the more options. Tab audio. So if you have a video playing or some music in the background and you want that to come through when you're recording, you need to toggle that on. I would encourage you to toggle on show drawing tools all the time. Those are really helpful, even if you only need to draw an arrow or something. If you ever need them, they're down here in this menu bar, right? And then I always encourage people to increase the countdown because 3 seconds comes up on you quick. 5 seconds feels like a lot more time. So just my encouragement. The last option is desktop. I use desktop if I'm trying to show people like settings on their Chromebook, or if I have to jump back between a couple different applications, or if I know there's going to be some pop-ups that come up. Sometimes the browser tab won't pick up those little drop-down boxes or something that will pop up on the screen, a little notification. So I encourage you to use desktop if you know there's going to be a lot of stuff like that, right? You can also choose application window, which I'm choosing, which just kind of eliminates the toolbar at the bottom of the screen. So those are the nuts and bolts. Once you hit record, right, it just gets in and gets started. I always try to X out of the little notification that pops up here that says Screencastify is recording my screen. And then if I don't need these tools, I actually just X out of that and hide the tools. There's actually a tool, shortcut keys, and I have 4 or 5 of them written down on a Post-it note right above my computer. So when I record, I can just look and see what the shortcut key is. So like I know this one's Alt T. So I can get rid of that, and it's a little bit smoother, right, instead of me clicking on it. So I'm over here, and then I can get those back if I need them. But those are just a little bit distracting to people watching the video. So if you don't need them, turn them off. I like the focus mouse, and I also like the highlight clicks a lot. So if I am clicking on things, or if I want to, I can click and hold, and people can see right what I'm talking about. Real quick with the pen, you choose the color and you write, right? So if you're just doing arrows or underlining things, you can use just your mouse. But if you're trying to do something a little bit more difficult, like a math equation, maybe you need a pen, a touch screen of some sorts, right? But it's really helpful. I love it because the annotation actually stays where you are on the page. So I'm going to go back to my mouse now. I'm going to scroll, and you notice that scrolls with the page. That's really cool. If I even go off of the page and come back, it's still there, right? So cool. And then the eraser works just for those tools, right? When I'm done with the video, I can either hit the pause button right here, and it will give me an option to stop, or I can come up to the extension and I can just hit the stop button here. There's also a keyboard shortcut for that. I'll be honest, I don't know it, so I always hit the pause button down here, and then if I need to, I just crop that out at the end. Next, we're going to look into some of the other features Screencastify has.